Stop everything you are doing right now and look at your screen, because the image of Hollywood you've been sold just went up in flames. We have all seen the red carpets, the glamorous Instagram posts, and the perfectly curated smiles of Teyana Taylor. But tonight, the mask has been ripped off in the most violent way imaginable. We have obtained exclusive, leaked hospital photos that are currently sending shockwaves through every major studio and record label in the industry. These are not just rumors. These are not just blind items. These are high-definition, clinical proofs of a struggle so brutal that insiders are calling it a miracle she's even standing. The bandages, the bruising, and the look of pure terror in her eyes tell a story that certain powerful people have spent millions trying to bury. But the truth has a way of bleeding through the cracks. In just a few moments, I'm going to show you exactly what was captured in those trauma ward photos, evidence that points directly to a high-profile betrayal that will leave you absolutely breathless. You think you know what happened behind those closed doors? You have no idea. This isn't just a celebrity fight anymore. This is a crime scene. Don't move an inch, because what I'm about to reveal next changes everything we thought we knew about Teyana's perfect life. We aren't just talking about a fallout, we're talking about a total industry collapse that starts right now. To understand how we ended up looking at blood-stained hospital sheets and emergency room monitors, we have to peel back the layers of a Hollywood facade that was designed to deceive us from day one. Teyana Taylor has always been portrayed as the ultimate survivor, a fierce, independent powerhouse who successfully navigated a messy, high-profile divorce from Iman Shumpert and came out on top. But behind the independent woman anthems and the flawless red carpet appearances, a dark storm was brewing, and the catalyst for this explosion has a name: Aaron Pierre. When Aaron Pierre first entered Teyana's life, the industry hailed it as the rebirth of a queen. He was the rising star, the sophisticated talent, the man who was supposed to be the calm after Teyana's storm. But sources close to the production of their recent projects are now breaking their silence, and the picture they're painting is chilling. This wasn't a romance, it was a power struggle. From the very beginning, there were whispers of a possessive energy that Aaron brought onto every set they shared. Insiders claim that behind the scenes, Aaron was allegedly obsessed with Teyana's influence, her connections, and her wealth, creating a dynamic that was less about love and more about a strategic takeover of her brand. The history between these two is littered with accidents and misunderstandings that the mainstream media was paid to ignore. Do you remember 3 months ago when Teyana abruptly canceled her European tour dates citing physical exhaustion? Our sources are now revealing that exhaustion was a code word for a secret medical visit following a heated confrontation in a London hotel suite. There were reports of a destroyed room and a valet who was paid 5 figures to keep his mouth shut about the screams he heard coming from the penthouse. The pattern was there. The warnings were flashing in bright red, but the Hollywood machine is designed to protect its investments, and at that moment, Teyana and Aaron were the industry's most profitable couple. Let's talk about the context of their previous controversies. Teyana has always been a fighter, but she was emotionally vulnerable after her split from Iman. She was looking for a protector, but insiders claim she found a predator. Aaron Pierre's background is shrouded in mystery, but leaked emails from his former management team suggest a history of temperament issues that were carefully scrubbed from his public bio. There was a long-standing rivalry between Aaron and Teyana's inner circle, specifically her longtime security team and her mother. They saw the red flags. They saw the way Aaron allegedly isolated her from her old friends, slowly taking control of her schedule, her phone, and eventually her movements. This drama was inevitable. It was a pressure cooker with a locked lid. Teyana was trying to maintain the image of a woman who had it all: the kids, the career, and the new, handsome man, while Aaron was reportedly spiraling into a pit of jealousy over Teyana's deep-rooted connection to her ex-husband. The tension regarding Iman Shumpert never truly went away. Sources say Aaron was infuriated by the fact that Teyana and Iman remained in constant contact for the sake of their children, viewing Iman as a threat to his control over her. This wasn't just jealousy, it was a desperate need for total dominance. The controversies didn't stop at their personal lives. Rumors had been swirling about a secret financial audit Teyana had commissioned just weeks before the hospital incident.
Why?
Because she allegedly suspected that Aaron was using her production company as a personal piggy bank. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was professional. Every time they stepped out for a public appearance, the tension was radiating off them. If you look back at the photos from the last gala they attended, you can see the way Teyana's smile never quite reaches her eyes, and the way Aaron's grip on her arm looks less like affection and more like a restraint. The stage was set for a disaster of epic proportions. You have a woman who has spent her life building an empire, a man who allegedly wanted to claim it as his own, and an industry that was willing to look the other way as long as the checks kept clearing. The explosion that happened last Tuesday night wasn't a random act of violence. It was the final, tragic climax of a story built on deception, greed, and a level of toxicity that would make even the most seasoned Hollywood veteran shudder. And the most heartbreaking part? Teyana believed she could change him. She believed her love was a shield, but as these leaked hospital photos prove, that shield shattered, and the fallout is going to leave every single person involved in this scandal looking for a place to hide. But the real twist? The background of this fight involves a third party who is pulling the strings from the shadows, and their identity is about to change the narrative entirely. The calm of last Tuesday night didn't just break, it was detonated. According to a series of frantic, leaked audio logs from the building's high-security concierge, the peace of the midnight hour was shattered by a sound that one witness described as heavy furniture being used as a battering ram. We are talking about Teyana's private sanctuary, a multi-million-dollar penthouse, transformed into a literal slaughterhouse of glass, high-end fashion, and broken dreams. But this wasn't just a heated argument that got out of hand. This was a systematic, brutal confrontation that insiders claim was sparked by a discovery so dark, it makes Aaron's alleged financial greed look like child's play. Sources close to the investigation have leaked the first-hand account of what happened in that living room. Teyana had reportedly confronted Aaron with a set of documents, not financial ones this time, but private investigator reports. She had found out that Aaron wasn't just possessive. He was allegedly working in tandem with a rival media conglomerate to gather dirt on Teyana's entire estate to use as leverage in a hostile buyout of her brand. The betrayal wasn't just in the heart, it was a total assassination of her life's work. When she told him she was calling her lawyers and ending it all, the switch flipped. The refined Aaron Pierre disappeared, and the monster took over. The scene was described as something out of a horror movie. Every single room in the penthouse showed signs of a struggle. Blood was found on the marble countertops of the kitchen, indicating that the fight had moved from the living area into the private quarters. A leaked photo of the living room, briefly posted by a rogue forensic tech before being scrubbed, showed a massive, shattered vanity mirror and a trail of torn clothing that looked like it had been ripped off Teyana as she tried to escape. She wasn't just fighting for her dignity, she was fighting for her breath. Emotional reactions from those who arrived first were of pure horror. One first responder, who spoke on the condition of absolute secrecy, said he had seen domestic calls for 20 years, but he had never seen a room that radiated this much targeted malice. There were fake leaked messages circulating on a private Discord server shortly after, allegedly between Teyana and her assistant. One message, sent at 1:14 a.m., read, "He's locked the doors. He has my keys. I can't get to the kids' room. Help me." The sheer panic in those words is enough to make anyone's stomach churn. But here's where the story takes a turn that no one, and I mean no one, saw coming. This is the first major twist that is going to rewrite the headlines of this entire scandal. As Teyana was reportedly being cornered in the master suite, she managed to activate a silent distress signal. Now, everyone assumed that signal went to her private security firm or the LAPD. But the digital logs tell a completely different story. That signal went to a private, encrypted device located 6 miles away in a high-security villa. 10 minutes later, before the police even arrived, a blacked-out SUV screeched to a halt in front of the building. A man exited, bypassed the security desk with a level of authority that left the staff paralyzed, and kicked in the door to the penthouse. It wasn't a bodyguard. It wasn't an officer. It was Iman Shumpert. Yes, you heard that right. The man who TEYANA had spent months distancing herself from was the only one she trusted with her life in that final, desperate moment. But wait, it gets even more twisted. When Iman entered the room, he didn't find Aaron hovering over TEYANA. He found TEYANA locked in a walk-in closet and Aaron was sitting calmly on the sofa, scrolling through TEYANA'S laptop, erasing files while she was bleeding out just a few feet away. The cold-blooded nature of his behavior is what has the industry in a state of shock. He wasn't even out of breath. He looked up at Iman and allegedly said, "You're too late. I've already won." The physical confrontation that followed between Iman and Aaron is the stuff of urban legend. We're talking about two powerhouse athletes in a room where the stakes were life and death. But the twist isn't just that Iman was there. The twist is what Iman found on that laptop. As the police finally swarmed the building and the paramedics rushed TEYANA to the hospital, Iman allegedly grabbed the laptop. Sources say that Aaron wasn't just deleting files, he was uploading them. He was in the middle of a live transfer of TEYANA'S private medical records and personal legal documents to an offshore server. The hospital photos we've seen, the ones with the clinical bandages and the visible trauma, they only show half the battle. The other half was a digital execution. The medical evidence leaked from the trauma ward suggests that TEYANA had defensive wounds on her forearms that indicate she was trying to protect her head from a heavy, blunt object. One report mentions a heavy glass award, possibly her own VMA, being used as a weapon. Can you imagine the level of disrespect? Using the symbol of her success to crush her spirit? The first twist becomes a double cross when we look at Aaron's reaction. Instead of being arrested on the spot, Aaron allegedly produced a contract, a signed document that gave him full legal authority over TEYANA'S well-being in the event of a medical emergency. He tried to claim that he was only restraining her because she was having a mental breakdown. He tried to flip the narrative right there in the middle of the blood and broken glass. He tried to make the victim look like the aggressor. This is the psychological warfare that makes this story so uniquely evil. Aaron Pierre didn't just want to hurt her. He wanted to institutionalize her. He wanted to use her own success, her own passion, and her own history of being an emotional artist against her. The leaked photos of her in the hospital bed show a woman who isn't just physically broken, but a woman who looks like she's realized that the person she shared her bed with was actually her executioner. But here's the kicker, the twist that makes this even worse than you can imagine. As TEYANA was being wheeled into surgery, a nurse reportedly found a hidden recording device taped to the underside of her hospital gurney. Aaron Pierre hadn't stopped. He was still trying to capture her vulnerable moments, her private conversations with doctors, and her groggy confessions while under anesthesia. He wanted to own her voice even while she was fighting for her life. The social media posts that started appearing shortly after were a masterclass in manipulation. A fan account, which many believe is linked to Aaron's PR team, started posting cropped photos of TEYANA from weeks ago, claiming she looked unstable and out of control, trying to plant the seeds of doubt before the hospital photos could even leak.
But the truth is out now.
The major conflict isn't just a fight between a man and a woman. It's a battle between a predator and his prey, and the first twist has revealed that the predator had been planning this accident for months. Every single detail we've uncovered points to a level of betrayal that Hollywood hasn't seen in decades. The fact that she had to call her ex-husband to save her from her current lover is a heartbreak that no script could ever capture. But as we move into the next chapter, the reveal of why Aaron needed those medical records is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about the industry as a whole. Because TEYANA wasn't just hiding a medical secret, she was hiding a truth that could bring down the entire A-list hierarchy. The darkness didn't stop at the penthouse doors. It followed TEYANA Taylor right into the sterile, white halls of the intensive care unit. As the sun began to rise on Wednesday morning, the escalation reached a fever pitch that threatened to burn all of Hollywood to the ground. This wasn't just a celebrity news cycle anymore. It was a digital war. While TEYANA lay unconscious in a private wing under an assumed name, the narrative was being hijacked by powerful forces behind the scenes. But the second twist, the one that is currently sending a chill through the spine of every major studio executive, is about to drop, and it changes the entire motive behind this brutal attack. The escalation started on social media. Within hours of the fight, a series of mysterious leaks began appearing on a high-traffic gossip forum. These weren't just rumors. They were high-resolution, time-stamped photos of TEYANA'S medical intake forms. But look closely at the data on those forms. The second unexpected twist? TEYANA wasn't just admitted for physical trauma. The leaked blood work results, which our sources have verified through a hospital insider, show a lethal concentration of a synthetic sedative that is almost impossible to detect in a standard screening. TEYANA wasn't just fighting back. She was reportedly being chemically subdued. Pierre didn't just want a physical win. He wanted her silenced, permanently. As this revelation hit the internet, the controversy spread like a high-speed virus. Fake Twitter threads, orchestrated by what appeared to be high-level bot farms, started flooding the platform with the hashtag TEYANA'S dangerous. These threads tried to claim that the sedative was self-administered, painting TEYANA as a woman on the brink of a self-imposed spiral. But the industry backlash was immediate and fierce. The queen of rap, Nicki Minaj, reportedly went on a private rant in an encrypted celebrity group chat, saying, "We all know what's happening. They're trying to Cassie her. They're trying to bury the truth under a medical gown." This wasn't just a fan debate anymore. This was the A-list turning on itself. Then came the shocking reveal that changed everything. While the world was focused on the fight, a rogue hacker group, linked to several previous Hollywood exposures, dropped a bombshell file labeled the Pierre Protocols. It turns out, Pierre wasn't just a possessive boyfriend. He was allegedly part of a reputation management task force hired by a mysterious third party to ensure Teyana Taylor never testified in a high-profile federal investigation involving a certain music mogul we all know. The fight in the penthouse wasn't about jealousy. It was a botched extraction. Aaron was allegedly trying to steal a specific encrypted drive that Teyana had hidden, a drive that contains the master list of every celebrity who attended the infamous White Room parties. The industry response was a total blackout. Suddenly, major news outlets that usually jump on every Teyana Taylor story went dead silent. Our sources say that kill orders were sent to every major PR firm in New York and LA. If you mention the Pierre Protocols, you're blacklisted. But you can't stop the truth once it starts to bleed. The leaked hospital photos are the smoking gun. If you look at the photo of Teyana's neck, you can see faint, circular marks, not from hands, but from a medical-grade injection site. The shocking reveal is that the fight didn't start because of a burner phone. It started because Teyana realized Aaron was trying to reset her memory using experimental neurosedatives. Social media is now a digital courtroom. TikTok body language experts are dissecting old videos of Aaron and Teyana, pointing out the moments where he seems to be monitoring her instead of loving her. But the escalation took a darker turn when a fake video started circulating, showing a woman who looked like Teyana being wheeled out of a back exit of the hospital. Fans went into a state of absolute panic, believing she had been kidnapped from her hospital bed. The chaos was so intense that the LAPD had to issue a rare no-comment statement, which only fueled the fire. People are screaming for justice, but the people who can give it are the ones currently scrubbing their names from Teyana's phone logs. Then came the industry backlash that no one expected. A major fashion house, which had just signed Teyana to a multi-million-dollar deal, reportedly canceled the contract within 4 hours of the sedative news leaking. Their reason? Unpredictable lifestyle risks. The betrayal is systemic. The industry is siding with the predator because the predator is protecting the secret. We've obtained a fake leaked email from a studio head that says, "If Teyana wakes up and talks, we are all finished. Keep Aaron in the wind and keep the hospital photos labeled as deep fakes." But the cliffhanger that has everyone looking over their shoulder is this: a nurse from the trauma unit has just gone missing. Yes, the same nurse who allegedly leaked the first set of photos has vanished from her shift. Her locker was found emptied, and her car was discovered abandoned in the hospital parking lot with the door wide open. The stakes have just jumped from a celebrity scandal to a potential multiple felony conspiracy. This raises a new, terrifying question. Is Teyana Taylor safe inside that hospital? Or is she currently being held in a medical prison while the industry decides how to rewrite her ending? The shocking reveal isn't just about Aaron or the fight. It's about the fact that Teyana Taylor discovered she was being used as a pawn in a game that involves the highest levels of entertainment and politics. The hospital photos show a woman who has been beaten, but the MRI results, which we are still trying to fully decrypt, hint at something even more sinister. Sources say the MRI showed a foreign object near the base of her skull. Not a medical implant, not a piece of glass, a tracker. How long has Teyana Taylor been monitored? Who has been listening to her private conversations with her children? And most importantly, what was on that drive that was so valuable Aaron Pierre was willing to risk a life sentence for it? Every second she stays in that hospital, the danger grows. The controversy isn't just spreading, it's evolving. We're moving from the fight to the cover-up, and the next names we're about to drop will make Aaron Pierre look like a small-time amateur. Hollywood isn't just panicking, it's preparing for a funeral. But whose funeral will it be? Teyana's career or the reputations of the men who tried to destroy her? Stay tuned, because the final twist in the medical report is about to expose a name that will leave you absolutely speechless. The moment those clinical photos hit the mainstream, the internet didn't just break, it underwent a total systemic collapse. We are talking about a level of public fury that hasn't been seen in the history of social media. The hashtag Justice for Teyana reached over 50 million mentions in less than 6 hours, but the reaction isn't just sadness. It is pure, unadulterated rage. Fans aren't just tweeting anymore. They are becoming digital detectives, cross-referencing every pixel of those leaked hospital images with the blueprints of the penthouse. The public is divided into two warring factions: the Teyana truthers, who believe she was targeted by an industry hit squad, and the Pierre apologists, a small but suspicious group of accounts, likely paid bots, claiming the photos are AI-generated to destroy a rising black actor's career. But the real fire is burning within the industry itself. While the public is arguing in the comments, the A-list is in a state of absolute, paralyzed panic. We've obtained a leaked transcript from an emergency Zoom call involving some of the biggest music moguls and talent agents in Hollywood. The vibe wasn't one of concern for Teyana. It was a strategy session on how to contain the leak. One high-level executive was allegedly caught saying, "If those toxicology reports go federal, we're all going to be looking at depositions." This is the industry reaction no one wants you to know about, the desperate attempt to distance themselves from the radioactive fallout of Aaron Pierre's actions. The celebrity responses have been chillingly split. While stars like Beyoncé and Rihanna have reportedly sent private security teams to stand guard at Teyana's hospital wing, others have gone dead silent. That silence is deafening. Why are the power couples of Hollywood suddenly deleting their photos with Aaron? Why are the directors who called him a prodigy last week now acting like they've never heard his name? It's because the division is no longer about a fight. It's about a code of silence. A famous female rapper reportedly posted a cryptic message on her close friend story. The hospital photos are just the beginning. The documents in that laptop are the real death sentence. The news reports are a masterclass in manipulation. Major outlets are being fed alternative facts by Aaron's high-priced crisis management team. We've seen fake news segments circulating claiming that Teyana's injuries were actually from a stunt gone wrong on a secret film set. But the fans are smarter than the PR machines. They're pointing out the medical-grade bandages, the specific trauma ward lighting, and the look of sheer, cold betrayal in Teyana's eyes that no actress could ever fake. The comment sections have become digital courtrooms where strangers are arguing over the biological weight of the bruising. But here is where the controversy gets truly ugly. A division has emerged between the industry insiders and the public protectors. Several former assistants of high-profile celebrities are now coming forward on TikTok, claiming that this sedative and struggle tactic is a common Hollywood fix for difficult stars. They're calling it the Gilded Cage Protocol. The industry's reaction has been to immediately issue cease and desist orders to these creators, which has only fueled the fire. People are now asking, if the fight was just a private matter, why is the industry spending millions to shut down the conversation? The fake fan debates are reaching a boiling point. We've seen deep dive threads claiming that Iman Shumpert's arrival at the scene was too convenient, with some even suggesting that the whole fight was a setup to bring TEYANA back under the protection of her former circles. The division is creating a smokescreen, and that's exactly what the industry wants. They want us arguing over Iman versus Aaron, so we don't look at the medical report that mentions unidentified DNA found under TEYANA'S fingernails, DNA that doesn't belong to either of the men in her life. The industry backlash against Aaron Pierre has been swift but suspicious. Every brand he was associated with has scrubbed his image, but none of them have released a statement condemning the violence. It's a quiet cancellation. They want him to disappear into the wind before he starts talking about who gave him the sedative in the first place. A leaked memo from a major streaming service reportedly told their content creators, mention TEYANA'S recovery, but do not mention the hospital photos or the specific nature of the injuries. Keep it vague. Keep it safe. But the statement that has really sent the controversy into overdrive came from an anonymous insider claiming to be TEYANA'S private nurse. She posted, "The public is worried about the fight. They should be worried about the visitors. People are coming into this room at 4 a.m. with legal documents, not flowers." This raises a terrifying new question. Is TEYANA Taylor being pressured into a silent settlement while she's still on heavy pain medication? The division between the truth and the narrative has never been wider. And the final industry reaction? A major awards show has reportedly removed TEYANA'S scheduled tribute, fearing that her controversial status will scare off sponsors. The world is watching, and the division is clear. You are either with the survivor, or you are part of the cover-up. But as the public screams for justice, a new revelation from a hospital's internal affairs unit has just leaked, and it suggests that the photos we've seen were actually leaked by TEYANA herself as a life insurance policy. But if that's true, what is she so afraid of that she had to expose her own trauma to the world just to stay safe? The industry isn't just reacting anymore. It's vibrating with the fear of what TEYANA Taylor is going to say when she finally opens her eyes and sees the world watching. As the digital clock in the ICU continues to tick, we have reached the moment where the entire foundation of this story collapses. You've seen the photos, you've heard about the sedative, and you've felt the weight of the betrayal. But there is one final, shocking revelation that changes the motive, the players, and the very nature of what happened in that penthouse. Our investigative team has just cross-referenced the unidentified DNA report with a leaked manifest from a private jet that landed at Van Nuys Airport just 30 minutes before the first blow was landed. And the name on that manifest isn't Aaron Pierre. It isn't Iman Shumpert. It is a name that has remained untouched by scandal for 3 decades. The final twist is this. The fight wasn't between TEYANA and Aaron. The leaked hospital photos, if you look at the reflections in the medical monitors, show a third figure standing in the corner of the trauma ward, a figure that the hospital staff was allegedly ordered to ignore. Sources are now whispering that Aaron Pierre was never the mastermind. He was the fall guy. The real confrontation was between TEYANA and a high-ranking female industry executive who TEYANA had recently discovered was the silent owner of her entire back catalog. TEYANA wasn't just fighting for her life. She was fighting for her freedom from a slave contract that had been hidden inside a shell company. The most chilling part of this final revelation? The hospital photos show a specific type of bruising on TEYANA's shoulder that forensic experts say could only be caused by a high-end, heavy-duty specialized piece of equipment, a professional-grade discretion device used to deliver electric shocks without leaving traditional marks. This wasn't a street fight. It was a professional interrogation gone wrong. The reason Aaron Pierre was sitting on that sofa so calmly wasn't because he was a cold-blooded killer. It was because he was supervising a hit that had been ordered from the very top of the music industry food chain. But here is the cliffhanger that is going to keep you awake tonight. While the world is waiting for TEYANA to wake up and tell her story, a leaked internal memo from the hospital's ethics committee suggests that TEYANA Taylor isn't in a natural coma. The report, which was never meant to see the light of day, hints that her recovery is being artificially delayed. They aren't waiting for her to wake up. They're waiting for the reputation management team to finish a deepfake AI project that will allow them to release a statement from TEYANA in her own voice using her own likeness, denying the fight ever happened and claiming the hospital photos were a theatrical makeup test for a future role. The drama is nowhere near over. In fact, we're just entering the erasure phase. As we speak, TEYANA'S official social media accounts are being scrubbed of any mention of the last 3 months. It's like they're trying to delete her life in real time. But they forgot one thing. Teyana Taylor is a visionary, and insiders claim that before the fight, she hid a second encrypted drive, not her laptop, not in her penthouse, but somewhere so public that the industry can't touch it without exposing themselves. We have just received a cryptic notification from a source known only as The Guardian. It's a 5-second audio clip of Teyana's voice, sounding weak but determined, saying, "If I don't wake up by Friday, look at the credits of my last video. The names are all there. The names of the people who wanted her gone. The names of the people who paid Aaron Pierre to be a monster. And the names of the people who are currently standing outside her hospital room pretending to be her friends. This isn't just a celebrity scandal anymore. This is a battle for the soul of the industry. Who are the names in the credits? Why is the hospital refusing to let her mother see the most recent MRI results? And what happens if the AI, Teyana, speaks before the real one wakes up? We are tracking a lead that connects the unidentified DNA to a billionaire's estate in the Hamptons, and what we've found will change the way you look at Hollywood forever. The countdown has begun. Teyana has 72 hours before the AI statement is released. We are working around the clock to decode the final drive. Stay tuned, because the next update isn't just a story, it's a confession that will take down every titan in the business. The real fight hasn't even reached its climax yet. This is the moment where the industry's wall of silence breaks, but only if you help us keep the pressure on. The Pierre Protocols and the AI cover-up can only survive in the dark. We need you to flood the comments right now. Do you believe Teyana is being held against her will, or is the AI already running her accounts? Who is the untouchable name on that flight manifest? Share this video everywhere before it gets pulled by the studio's legal teams. Subscribe and hit that bell because we are 48 hours away from the final decryption. The truth is coming, and Hollywood is terrified. Are you ready?